Insurances are one of the least fun things to talk about and one of the least fun things to pay. But as a high income accumulator, it is one of the most important parts of your financial plan. Hi, I'm Thomas Kopelman, financial planner for high income and high net worth 30 to 40-year-olds. And in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through the 7 insurances that you need to consider. The first one is life insurance. So life insurance is something that everybody knows exists, but a lot of people wait too long to get. It's an insurance that is gonna help make sure that you and your family are protected if you pass away, if your spouse passes away, etc. It is the way to ensure that the life stays the same. Most people are building income, they're building net worth, they're trying to provide a great life for their kids. If you were to pass away, you want that same thing to happen, which is exactly why you want to get life insurance. You want to get a pretty good amount and you want to get it outside of work. If you want to learn more about life insurance, last week's video was all about life insurance, how much you need, what it costs, and term versus permanent life insurance. The second one is disability insurance. So when you're in this age range, your greatest asset is your ability to earn income. Some of my clients are making $600 to $1.8 million a year. Let's say that you're making $1 million a year, you have 20 more years of working, that's $20 million. What happens if tomorrow you get hit in a car accident and you can never work again? All of that income's gone, right? Well, that's where disability insurance comes into play. Disability insurance is an insurance that you pay for that helps guarantee your income down the line. A few things you want to look for. One is own occupation. So if you're a doctor and this happens and you have disability insurance, but you don't have own occupation disability insurance, they might say, hey, you could go teach, so we're only going to pay you the difference of the wages lost. If you had own occupation disability insurance, that would say, hey, if you can't go be a surgeon and do your job, we will pay this out. Disability insurance is extremely important to ensure that you have your income covered. A lot of employers do cover this, but let's say that you have 60% coverage. Sometimes they have a cap of $10,000 a month or 15 or 20 or 25. So for my high income folks out there, that might not be enough. And on top of it, if your company pays for it and you don't pay for it, understand that benefit is taxable. So this last person I was talking about who's making $1 million a year, I've seen it where they only get $25,000 and that's gonna get taxed. So they might only end up with $15,000 to $17,000 when they're making like $50,000 to $60,000 after taxes before. This is something that you want to think about and it's something that you want to protect. Okay, the next one's auto insurance. So obviously everybody has auto insurance, but the problem is that most have the basic auto insurance. They focus on low deductibles, they focus on the rental car, but they don't focus on the liability maxes. So typically you can get up to $250,000 and $500,000 of coverage if you hit somebody. So let's use the example that you're driving home from work today and you absolutely hit and really hurt a doctor. And that doctor sues you for $500,000 for damages. Well, a lot of people only have $25,000 and $500,000 and $50,000 of coverage, so they would end up being out $500,000 minus the $50,000, $450,000 out of pocket. And this is why those liability coverages and liability maxes are really important. If you had the $500,000 of coverage, that would not come out of pocket. Okay, the next one is homeowners insurance or renters insurance, but we'll focus more on homeowners. Homeowners insurance is to protect your house. You want to have the right dwelling coverage. You want to have like service line utility endorsements. You have all of these things to protect your roof. But again, you want to have those liability coverages. So I was talking to an attorney a couple of weeks ago and they had a client situation where they had a house built, somebody was over, somebody fell over the railing and died. And they thought they were totally fine, but then ended up realizing that the railing was an inch shorter than code. So they were liable for this. So they get sued for $2 million. Well, if they only had $100,000 of coverage from liability, they would be out $1.9 million. If you have the max $500,000 of coverage, then you would still be out $1.5 million, but it'd be less. So how do you end up covering that extra $1.5 million? That's where umbrella insurance comes into play. Umbrella insurance is extremely valuable, especially for people with any amount of wealth. When you have a lot of income and you have a lot of wealth, you are targets for lawsuits. And so one way to protect yourself is to have umbrella insurance. So think about it, it's an umbrella, it sits on top of your other liability coverages between auto and homeowners. So let's say we go back to that example, you have $2 million of umbrella, $500,000 on the house. Well, you got sued for $2 million. The homeowners will cover the 500, the umbrella would cover the other 1.5 million, and you wouldn't be out of pocket. One of the fastest ways to lose your wealth for people in this space is by having a lawsuit and not having the right protections in place. This is why umbrella insurance is extremely valuable, and you typically can get anywhere from for $15 to $25 a month per million. So super cheap, and it's gonna be something that's gonna be really valuable for you in a dire situation. The next one is renter's insurance. I'm not gonna hit on this too much. Renter's insurance is extremely cheap. It's gonna help protect you if anything happens at your place. A lot of times the owner is gonna have different insurances over it. So that's why it ends up being really cheap. And again, get those liability maxes covered so that way nothing bad can happen to you. And then the last one really is health insurance. So if you notice, I didn't go into like phone insurance or any of these really cheap things. Insurance to me is about protecting large dollar amount outlays. It's not about a $500 cost or a $1,000 cost, because when you have this much income, that's not as important. But the last one, health insurance, this one's really important. A lot of times we see people in this income range just picking the most expensive insurance because they think, oh, well, I'll do that. It's gonna have a lower deductible. It's a lower out-of-pocket max. That's gonna be better, regardless of how much healthcare they have. So obviously, before you pick your health plan, you wanna make sure it covers your doctors. You wanna make sure that if you have specific medications, it covers that. But then you wanna look at everything included. You wanna look at premium, deductible, co-insurance, co-pays, out-of-pocket maxes, if they're HSA eligible. You want to analyze all those plans and help figure out what's best for you. A lot of times people are surprised that high deductible health plans become really advantageous and sometimes are the best because you're paying lower deductibles, you're paying lower premiums, even though you have higher deductibles, but you also get to put money in an HSA. So if you put the $77.50 in an HSA, that's pre-FICA, that's pre-state and pre-federal taxes. It can be invested and grow tax-free and then be used on healthcare expenses down the line tax-free. So you really want to evaluate your health insurance, but it's also something that's really important because you don't want to not have health insurance and end up having to pay $100,000 or so out of pocket. So these are the 7 most important insurances that you need to look into, consider, and improve. And one last piece of advice is every couple years, go to an independent broker, share your insurances, and have them take a look and see if they can beat the prices, because oftentimes they can because they've just been raising on you gradually throughout that period of time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and go subscribe to my channel for more personal finance content. And as always, please leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I promise to get back to every single one of them. We'll see you back next week.